What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Riff Ram Review right here on KTCU, the choice, your choice for college radio. My name's Ian Nepetian, and tonight we've got another episode for you guys. I'm here alongside Zion Trammell and Seth Dowdle. Guys, how are we doing on this Wednesday? This is our last episode before Thanksgiving break.
Yeah, it's going to be weird having a little bit of a gap, with school and all that, but looking forward to going home, celebrating Thanksgiving and watching some football with my family, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but excited for this episode.
Yep, this is the show, the penultimate show before Turkey Day.
Yes.
Ooh.
It is.
Very fun.
Ooh, I know.
I love Turkey Day.
Turkey Day is upon us.
It's an underrated holiday. And I believe it deserves its due time.
Yep.
I've said that multiple times as we approach the day where we give thanks, and I think that we should stop our Christmas celebration. Mariah Carey, go back into your little dungeon, and you'll come out on December 25th, because that's the day where it's time for Christmas and time for TCU Oklahoma at 11 a.m. on Fox, which we will not talk about this week, and we will probably never talk about because we won't have a show next week.
Exactly. No, but I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving break. Hope everybody listening is. Hopefully you guys do get a nice little break. You guys as well here in the studio. I'm definitely looking forward to it. It should be fun. Do you guys have any plans for Thanksgiving?
Yes, I am. So I have an interesting schedule for me because I fly back on Thursday, and then I'm going to be flying back to the Bay Area, and then on Friday morning I'm flying to San Diego because it was kind of last minute, so I couldn't cancel my Thursday flight. So going to San Diego for with my friends for the weekend, so that should be fun. But I'll be back home for Thanksgiving and all that.
I'm going to Charleston, and then going up to Oklahoma for Thanksgiving Day.
Okay.
Coming back. It's very busy Thanksgiving Day. Very busy week. Going to Charleston on Sunday, flying back on Wednesday night, going to Oklahoma for Thanksgiving lunch, then coming back to DFW for Thanksgiving dinner in the same day, and then a relaxing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday though.
And then going back for TCU.
Then going back the next morning for TCU Oklahoma at 11.
No. I'm not going to Norman.
Yeah. What about you, Ian?
Just going home. Looking forward to relaxing. Honestly, just want to get home and sleep.
Yes.
Just want to go home, relax. I'm glad to finally be going home. I'm a guy that needs a change of scenery sometimes. I feel like I've been in one place for too long. I need just a little schedule change, a little scenery change, and I think it'll be good. Perfect time right before the wind up to final exams. So
we don't need to talk about those though.
Exactly, because we do have a lot of other stuff to talk about, and that includes TCU's most recent game against number 7 Texas. They lost by a score of 29-26. The score was much more flattering than I think any of us could have hoped or imagined going into it. I know all of our score predictions were pretty tough, except for Seth. I know Seth chose TCU to win, which actually it nearly happened.
It did. Can y'all believe it?
I know.
Can y'all believe that it almost happened, that they almost won?
That second half was crazy.
Yeah.
They didn't deserve to win.
Yeah. I was in the car with a few minutes left trying to beat traffic, and I get a call from my friends we have a chance to tie this thing. It's third down, and then,
Adonai Mitchell happened.
Yeah.
And purple tears ran through the stadium. And they were running through the stadium for almost the entirety of the game, it felt like. So much so that I did turn the game off going into the half. I didn't turn it back on until midway through the fourth, whenever there was a shot at a redemption. But TCU, I'm proud of the way that they responded to a tough first half. It looked like things were going to be a blowout because the last couple minutes of that second half were disastrous. So proud of that. But other than that, I feel like my biggest takeaway from this is more big picture, in the sense that TCU is now 4-6. Probably will not make a bowl game. And I just am disappointed by the opportunity that was squandered by this TCU team this season, and that you're coming off a year where you make a national championship game, and you had all the momentum in the world. For one, every time you go into a school, a recruit's house, anything, you are more validated, and you are thought of higher because of where you just were, right? You have more credibility because of where you just were. You can talk about yourself like you're a big dog, but you also at the same time had to back that up with a good rebound of a season, not a national championship appearance, maybe not even a Big 12 championship appearance at all, but you had the opportunity to go in and win 8, 9, 10 games, make a bowl game, make a quality bowl game, and make a statement, but they didn't. And that is what is most disappointing about this season, is that this coaching staff squandered a big opportunity, and it started back all the way in the offseason with some questionable hires that I don't wish to go into now, but are certainly coming back to bite them right now. And that is what I take away from this game. They never were going to win this game. That was never something that was in the cards. Even when it got close, they didn't even deserve to. But the fact that we are even here right now, where they are 4-6 going into Baylor week and no one cares, this game is on ESPN Plus because, one, Baylor stinks and TCU also stinks. The fact that we're here, where TCU coming off a national championship appearance with a roster this talented, and they are not going to make a bowl, is extremely disappointing in an opportunity that has been squandered.
Yeah, and I mean, this most recent game against Texas was really it basically was a summary of what this whole season has been, and it's been a season of missed opportunities, right? I mean, this game, TCU obviously down 26-6 at halftime. Defense steps up in the second half, holds Texas's defense. Holds Texas's offense to only 3 points in the second half, and then TCU's offense claws back, makes it a 3-point game, and you ultimately lose the game. But again, this game came down to key moments where there were turnovers, there were inefficiencies in the red zone, right? And those are two things that have plagued this team all season, and it came back to bite the team in the butt again. And I think this was the perfect game that kind of just encapsulates what this whole season has been like and the frustrations that have just run through and throughout this team.
Yeah, it's been opposite of last season. Lots of one-possession losses. Last year they won those games. This year they haven't. I think the turning points in this game was the Miller Bradford interception, where he then coughed it up, and Texas was able to get 3 points out of it. I think it was a momentum shift because really when Miller Bradford picked that ball off the student section, we went crazy. I mean, it was a big turning point. It felt like, okay, we can maybe move the ball here and see what we can do. Instead, you give it right back to Texas, and then they get some points out of it. And then the interception by Josh Hoover at the end of the first half was pretty inexcusable. That led to points, and that's the difference between TCU winning and losing this game. Again, like Seth said, I didn't expect them to win, but it's disappointing that they came so close and they couldn't pull it out. And you have a 3rd and 12 or something like that at the end of the game at the Texas 13-yard line, and Quinn Ewers throws a dime. I mean, it's
a great catch by Adonai Mitchell. That was insane.
Yeah, and I just thought, wow, like again, it's just you got to finish drives like that. You got to get the ball back. So definitely disappointing.
Yeah, and again, right, I mean, you said it there, finishing drives. It's all about execution in the red zone, right? And you and I were at the press conference this Tuesday, and Sonny kind of compared this year's offense to last year's offense and said, look, we weren't that much better in the red zone last year. It's just we scored on bigger chunk plays. This year, we're getting into the red zone at the same rate, if not higher, but we just can't finish those drives off, right? And we saw it again. TCU had first and goal maybe at their own at their 6-yard line. Eventually got to the 2-yard line, but they had rushed it in 2 or 3 consecutive plays. And kind of in that situation, when you're going to pass the ball at least once, because if you're going to go, if you're going to go for it on 4th down no matter what, pass the ball on either 1st or 2nd down. But they continued to give it to Amani Bailey, who I can't fault because he's had a tremendous season.
Yeah.
But it comes down to those minuscule moments where, look, if the play calling is not right, this is the difference between beating or losing against a number 7 Texas Longhorns team, right? And this win could have done so much for the season, right? Then you only need 1 win for a bowl game. It can do so much just for the morale to at least walk away from the season with this type of win on your back and kind of carrying this with you as a big takeaway. But yeah, again, it's just this game was purely based off of missed opportunities, and that's really the only way I can describe it.
Yeah, that fade route on the 4th and goal.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started. It's a give up, a fade call at any point in time. They called it on 4th and goal there, and they also called it on the 2-point conversion.
Yep.
They called it a fade, and that just seems like the ultimate give up play. It's like you're out of ideas. You're telling me you don't have a better idea than a fade call from a freshman quarterback? You know how much it takes so much skill to hit that consistently.
Timing as well.
Yeah, and. Maybe it was PI on the 2-point conversion. I just don't care.
That's not the right play call.
You have not earned the benefit of my doubt to get that. And I screwed up the cliche there. Benefit of the doubt. I don't know why I said my doubt. Benefit of my doubt. I do doubt. I have been doubting. But again, whole season of missed opportunities. We're not even in this whole doom and gloom type talk right now. If you beat West Virginia, Iowa State, Colorado, because at that point you're in a bowl game and we're somewhat content.
Yeah, I think a bowl game you just feel okay. I mean, hey, that's not the worst case scenario. It's not the best, but we'll take it. And it sucks. Shout out to Savion Williams though. Had a great game. 11 catches, 164 yards, and a touchdown. That's the Savion we've been wanting to see.
Yeah,
great game.
Totally. No, he really showed up. Showed his leadership too. Right. I mean, this is 4th year here at TCU. Seemed like it's in this game it finally all came together. Not to say that Savion hasn't had a good game in the past, but career highs in receptions, career highs in yardage, coming against a top tier team in Texas. One thing I want to point out about Savion too is on last week on a previous episode I mentioned how there's no real leaders that you can really point to, and I'm not saying Savion is an automatic leader after this game, but he said something in the presser following that game, and I'm going to quote him. He said, "Going into the game, half of us believed we were going to win. Half of us believed we were going to lose." And again, this idea, right, of culture, team culture, right? Some of the hires in the offseason, bringing in new guys and things like that. Team culture was greatly in question heading into this year. And not to say that this affirms it, but typically players don't come out and admit that guys on the team didn't think we were going to win, right? That's something that maybe fans, that maybe, people gossip about and say, oh, I don't think the team's head is in it. I don't think they have the right mindset. Sure, but that's not a confirmation that it is. But Savion Williams saying this about the team, one, it kind of confirms that, look, there are some deep-rooted issues in terms of the culture, in terms of the mindset of some of these guys. But also I have to give him credit because but just because Savion, it doesn't seem like he cares what they think. He's like, look, I'm not trying to, point fingers and put the blame towards other people, but look, I'm not going to shy away from the fact that there's an issue here. And I mean, him saying that, following this game, I mean, it tells you what he thinks about the culture and that something needs to change. So I give credit to him for saying that because that takes, that takes guts to come out and say.
Yeah, it does. And it surprises me considering it's the last matchup against Texas. They're leaving for the SEC. You want to make a statement. Get that eternal scoreboard, that final laugh. And then to think, oh, we probably aren't going to win this game. That's, don't like that. But yeah, I'm glad Savion said that.
But after that loss, the team does turn the page. We look ahead to TCU and Baylor. That's going to be this weekend on Saturday. Saturday the 19th? Is that
18th.
18th. Saturday the 18th here at Amon G. Carter Stadium. That should be a good one. Let's talk about that a little bit. Baylor obviously having a very similar season to TCU. Coming into the season hoping for some better production, and it hasn't seemed to have gone right in any facet for Dave Aranda's team.
Just want to make this clear. Their season's, yes, somewhat similar, at least record-wise. Baylor is a way worse team than TCU. They stinky poo-poo. They suck. Yeah. And I know that this could be clipped if this game goes really bad. Mm-hmm. That does not change the fact that they suck. That just means that TCU sucks as well. Baylor lost to Houston. Baylor almost was like in a game with Long Island for a little while there.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's been a really tough year for them, and it's hard not to feel for Dave Aranda, who I enjoy as a head coach, and it stinks that this is probably it. I don't see a way where you can move forward if you're the athletic department with him right now as the head coach. This is year 4, and you're going backwards. They made the Sugar Bowl and won the Big 12 in 21, and ever since then it's just been downhill. And that's not where you need to be on the ascent right now. You need to, again, just like TCU, carry momentum out of a productive season in 2021, and all they've done is gone backwards. So that's where I am on Baylor. And I'm sure y'all feel pretty similarly about how the Bears have gone this year.
Yeah, they're not a good team. I mean, they had to come back out of a miraculous comeback against UCF.
Heck of a comeback.
It was, and but since then it's been one win against Cincinnati. They've lost 3 in a row against Iowa State, Houston, and got their butts kicked by Kansas State, similar to how we did. But yeah, I mean, this should be okay. I will feel good about TCU winning this game. I'm not going to say it should be because, again, both teams are not performing that well. But I feel good about TCU winning this game. New helmets for the Horned Frogs.
Yeah.
Look sick.
Yeah.
I love them.
Interesting logo. I'm not fully on board with it. I think it's interesting. I do like last year's. I am a bit of a traditionalist type of guy, but interesting,
Interesting indeed.
Interesting trophy.
Interesting trophy. Thank you, Ian.
He was about to say something, and then he's like, oh.
The Blue Bonnet Battle is apparently happening in Fort Worth on Saturday, but I say no. The Blue Bonnet Battle is a thing conceived by governments elected not by the people, not for the people. Nuh-uh. These people made a rash decision that is not for us. TCU and Baylor have been playing for a very long time, since the 1800s. TCU began playing Baylor closer to the Pilgrims than now. That is how long they have been playing. That is not true, but it feels that way. And it has been called the Revivalry unofficially for so long. And the Revivalry is such a perfect name for a rivalry between 2 Protestant schools. And then the student governments of Baylor and TCU said, we like flowers instead for this name. And we like trophies picked up at Hobby Lobby instead. And we like to put our names, SGA and the Baylor student government are on the back of this thing? Nuh-uh. No. You think that's going to convince me as a fan, as a student who elected you to do what was right, not what was for you? I am appalled by this Blue Bonnet Battle, and I do not support it. I stand up with the people who will rush the field and steal it before the teams can get it, and then we will throw it into Lake Worth, and it will never be seen again.
Dang.
All right.
That is an all-time rant here on Riff Ram Review.
I'm not crazy against it, but
I actually love it.
Ian, I just want to you are a TCU transplant. You are a new fan of TCU since 2021.
Exactly.
I have lived and breathed this school since I was a mere baby.
Yeah.
And the rivalry has been a pertinent object of my life for years. And it has been, even for people longer than that, and it has never been the official name. Actually, Baylor tried to make it the official name last year. They sent out multiple emails I saw with the Revivalry as the thing, and now we're changing course, guys? What is this, the Blue Bonnet Battle? We love alliteration. We're the Riff Ram Review for a reason. But, gosh.
Yeah. I grew up a Texas fan, Texas Longhorns. So I grew up with Texas OU, Red River Showdown, Red River Rivalry. That's dope. Like, that's a sick name. So pivoting to the Blue Bonnet Battle doesn't inspire much excitement in me. And you can tell that some of the players, I don't want to speak for them, but they're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's cool. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty heavy too. I'm like, how are they gonna pick it?
It has straps on the back.
Yeah,
that's
it
how
does.
heavy it is. Hobby Lobby worked overtime on this.
yeah, no, it was funny at the presser on Tuesday. Griffin Kell walked in and he didn't actually see it. I was surprised because it's like this massive thing on
right
a
in
separate
front of
table.
him.
And someone asked him, he's like, hey, what do you think about the trophy? Have you seen it? It's like, yeah, I've seen it on Twitter. And then it's like sitting right next to him, and he's like, oh, takes a look. It's like, I guess it's cool. Like,
Thank you, Griffin.
He's like, that's it, but hopefully we can get it after the game.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. TCU plays for 2 trophies that are awesome. They
Yeah.
play for a skillet, which unfortunately they will no longer play for.
And a saddle.
In a saddle.
That's
right?
way better.
I love
The
the
saddle's
saddle.
cool. The skillet's cool
They
as
should
well.
play for a
right?
boot or something like that.
Maybe they should, but a skillet's like rivalry trophies are good in their simplicity, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And there was no rivalry trophy here, but the rivalry has run deep for a very long time. I don't think if you asked a TCU or a Baylor fan, hey, who's your most hated rival, we'd say each other every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And then to diminish it with such a stupid name and such a bland trophy makes my blood boil, guys. It makes my blood boil. I'm so angry. We're running out of time, but I'm just so upset about this. And what's unfortunate is that our whole season has been demoted to this.
Yep, pretty much.
If we were 9 and whatever right now, I wouldn't care as much.
Yeah, if we were 9 and something, TCU SGA wouldn't care about this. Wouldn't worry about making this trophy. But instead, it's a 3-7 Baylor Bears team against a 4-6 TCU Horned Frogs team. But
On ESPN Plus.
on ESPN Plus, where you can watch that. But all right, I think it's time before Seth's blood begins to boil even more. I think we should get these score predictions in. So, Zion, I guess we'll start off with you. What are your predictions for this weekend's game on Saturday?
I think TCU will win this game. I think they'll win pretty soundly, actually. I'm hoping for that. My prediction is 31-21 the Horned Frogs.
31-21 Horned Frogs, all right.
I believe TCU will win as well. I believe it'll be a little bit closer just because rivalry games are cool. They always tell you to throw the records out of the book, even though the records, both teams would love to throw the records out. And, it's heated competition and whatever. But I'll go TCU 27, Baylor 20.
27-20, is that it? Sorry, I'm writing this down
Baylor
just so I
20
have it here so I can look.
27-20.
All right, TCU 31-21, TCU 27-20. I'm debating going for like a higher score. I don't really know. But again, it's like a rivalry game, and I feel like every time I overestimate TCU, they actually really like show out in a subpar fashion. Probably going to go with you guys. I'm going to go. Let's go 27-24. I'll keep it close. It'll be
Horned
fun.
Frogs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. TCU.
All
TCU.
right, nice.
27-24.
This is the first time we've agreed TCU will win.
Yeah, I know.
In a very, very
In
long
a very
time.
long
Long
time.
time, yeah.
Yes, it's been
It's
quite
probably
a while.
it's probably been since
Since the SMU one.
no
no.
who'd they play in
No,
week
'cause-
2? The FCS team.
Nichols.
Nichols.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
Probably,
right.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. All right, folks. Well, that will bring us to the end of this TCU-centric segment where we kind of went over TCU's loss to Texas from this past weekend, but we also looked ahead to TCU Baylor, which is coming up this Saturday on November 18th. That's going to be at kickoff at 2:30 here at Amon G. Carter Stadium, so tune into that on ESPN+. But when we come back, we've got a lot of TCU men's and women's basketball to talk about. TCU women's basketball starting off 4-0 for the first time since 2019, and men's basketball is 3-0 so far this season. So stay right here on 88.7 The Choice. You're listening to Riff Ram Review.